John's in Hemel Hempstead. John, have you changed your view as a result of this sparkling renegotiation presided over by our wonderful Prime Minister David Cameron?
Well, I haven't changed my view, but then my view hopefully is based on what I feel about Europe and also the evidence. And from what I can see, we are coming up with solutions to problems that don't really exist. I mean, why do we want to stop EU migrants coming here who are contributing so much to this country, and especially since we have approximately the same number of British people who go and live across the rest of Europe. So if all those Britons came back home and all the European citizens from the rest of Europe here went home, the population of this country would be about the same as it is now. And what would that achieve?
Well, quite a lot, because we would have swapped working people who are paying taxes for, in large part, pensioners who aren't.
Well, that's another myth. The vast majority of British people are working across Europe. Just some are pensioners. There's quite a lot in Spain, that's true. But the vast majority have gone to Europe to go and work. And that's the great ideal. I mean, I'm proud to be British, but I'm also proud to be European. And personally, I don't want to lose the right to go and live and work and study or retire across my continent. I mean, if we leave the EU, I think I might start a campaign that says, I want my continent back.
I have to be robust with you because I'm so robust with it. But the problem is you haven't said anything that's insane, have you? OK, look, a lot of people, the notion of uncontrolled immigration, so not being able to say to anybody who's a European, no, but then you'll just come back and say, but we enjoy the same freedom when it comes to the rest of Europe.
It does work both ways. But this idea that it's an uncontrolled border, to me, is also another nonsense. For example, under EU law, you're not allowed to move to another country unless you've got the means to look after yourself. It's a myth to say that anyone could come to this country and start claiming benefits. They can't. They can only move to another country if they have got enough money to look after themselves. They can't become a burden on the state. And if people come here to look for a job and they're not actually claiming any benefits because they're not allowed to, what's wrong with that? I mean, that's great. And also, of course, from all the studies I've seen, EU migrants here are making a massive net contribution to the economy. What is the reasoning for wanting to make it more difficult for them to come here? We go to cafes, we go to different hotels, we're served by people from all over Europe. Isn't that wonderful? I would hate to lose that.
But you I mean, and I'm not going to accuse you of this because I think I'm probably guiltier of it than you are. You leave me only with sort of xenophobia and mild racism as the motivation for the Leave campaign, and that can't be fair. That can't be accurate in all of them. There must be more powerful arguments than you and I have managed to find, mustn't there?
Well, you would hope so, because one wants a good debate. I mean, I voted no in the first referendum. I've changed my mind, and one hopes that people are going to base their decision on the evidence. And I say let's listen very hard to both sides of the argument. But the problem with the Leave argument is that they can't really tell us what will happen when we leave. They can't really tell us what life will be like. And probably we've known for a number of decades now what it's like to be in the EU. It's got a lot of faults. I'm not blindly supportive of the EU, but my feeling is that staying in as a member, we can help to lead the EU rather than leave it. We can help to form it to be better rather than being on the outside. So I feel they're going to have to come up with some better arguments, because people don't generally vote for change. You don't move home if you don't know what the home's going to be.
Yeah, this is what I mean by risk averse, and it probably is the overriding feeling. And I mean, it makes a mockery of the whole referendum in a way. It also makes us wonder why we're having it. The whole national conversation with problems facing the NHS, education, emergency services, everywhere you look, we've got problems, and the conversation in this country until at least June is going to be almost exclusively about this.
I think that, frankly, I wonder whether the Prime Minister's got himself into a hole. He's pro-EU. There are huge world issues with terrorism, with countries who are under siege, with huge numbers of refugees, with all sorts of home problems that we've got. And here we are spending our time on a referendum we probably don't need.
Yeah, and of course all of those problems you described, to my mind, and I appreciate others may disagree, are problems that the world faces, and the best way to solve them would be to have as much of the world as possible pulling together to achieve it. But, of course, the word for pulling together is union. John, thank you.